So Nigel, thanks for joining us at Sticky Marketing. Read the impact code, which is here, which we love at Sticky Marketing, and you're very famous. Anybody's ever seen you speak for talking about being in the room, and the importance of being in the room. Can you just explain that a bit more? And
my whole premise about business is that if you're not where you need to be and you're not focused, it's a waste of time. So the only person who matters in my whole life today is you, because there's only you and me in the room. The problem is, what most people are thinking about is my journey to Manchester after this, the journey that I've just had, and that doesn't work, because even though I may not fancy you that much, you're the only one that's here. And most of the time we don't love the people we're with, because we're always focusing on the next job or the last job.
Absolutely. So I agree with you, and you see people messing up because of that, but what are the techniques then? What do people do to make sure that they're not thinking about the argument they've had this morning or the place they've got to go later, or what can people do?
Okay, well, let's go back a step. If you've had an argument, finish it, deal with it, or recognise you're in pain with it. So one of the things that I often do when I work with any audience is ask, what's stopping you being in the room? Do you need to go somewhere? Do you need to do something? Do you need to go make that phone call? Do you need to pee? Because if you need to, go and do it and come back. I'm really tough on people who have their phones on, their computers on, because if that's more important, I want them to do that. If I was going for open heart surgery and this guy had a phone call to make to his mother, I'd want him to make the phone call first.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be thinking about the phone call and in the middle of it botch the job up. Most accidents always occur, and I bet you've been driving a car occasionally and you're thinking about something else, or you see a stunning girl out the side of the window, and just for a second you glance. The problem is in that moment you're driving a machine that kills.
Yeah.
You lose focus for 1 second, and we all do it. Potentially you can murder somebody. If you're a doctor and you don't focus on the operation, you can murder somebody. But at work, you miss a word in a phone call, you miss an opportunity, because you're thinking about the next sale or the last sale. So for the next 20 minutes, the next 3 hours we're together, the only one who matters in my life is you. Doesn't mean I love you more than my wife and kids, but you're the only one that's here. And when I leave, then I'll focus on the next person.
Yeah, very good advice. So I understand, deal with whatever you've got to deal with, and that makes perfect sense. So what about being focused on the job? So let's say we've made the phone call, we've done those things, I'm now with you, but all of a sudden, the thought pops into my mind, what am I doing later or whatever else? How do you make sure you maintain some sort of focus? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that.
So for me, I sometimes might say to you, you know what, Grant, I've just left the room. I know we're talking about this issue, but I've just thought about, I must get petrol when I leave here. So how long is this interview going to last? Because I've just thought about it. Okay, it's going to last an hour. Brilliant. Now I'm back in the room. Very often we try and hide an emotion. We try and hide what's going on. If you're honest and you show up and you're vulnerable, people love it. You ever seen a comedian on stage and they kind of lose their place?
Yeah.
And they actually say to the audience, anyone know where I was? First of all, the audience love it. And I'm on stage a lot and I have no idea where I am. But I tell the audience, and then it's really cool to find out if they were listening. And I'd say, at least you were in the room. One of us was.
Yeah, absolutely. So part of this is just being authentic with people as well.
If you're authentic, get away with everything.
Brilliant. Thank you.